Hey Knicks fans, before we jump into today's video, we're going to be live for the NBA trade deadline on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel this Thursday, 1 o'clock Eastern. We're going to go live at youtube.com/chatsportstv. I encourage you guys to subscribe over there because we will have wall-to-wall NBA trade deadline coverage for the entire NBA, including the Knicks, if they were to make any moves. So subscribe and join us over there. And of course, we'll have you guys covered on this channel as well if the Knicks make any moves. But subscribe to Chat Sports. Knicks Now wouldn't even be possible without our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. Welcome into New York Knicks Now. I'm your host, Harrison Graham from Chat Sports, and we're going to get you guys caught up on the latest Knicks trade rumors on today's video. Again, 3 days away from the NBA trade deadline. How about a CJ McCollum trade? Marc Stein reporting that the Knicks have become a main suitor for CJ McCollum. Now, it looks like Portland is probably going to sell. Damian Lillard has been banged up, and really for years now, there's been the conversation of splitting up Dame and CJ, and it appears that that time could be around the corner with the deadline approaching very, very quickly. And the Blazers could be looking in general to just shed big contracts, which obviously CJ has, as he's under contract for a couple more years for over $69 million. Now, I think CJ McCollum in New York would be a fantastic addition. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Now, we've talked about a lot here on Knicks Now, whether it's me, Marsh, or Chase, about the lack of a point guard in New York. And CJ's not really that, although he can run a little bit of point. But I think he would help quite a bit. Now, I do wonder, how much are you going to have to give up for CJ McCollum? Number one, you got to be able to absorb his $30+ million per year that he makes. And number two, how much draft capital is it going to cost? Multiple firsts? I think it's possible. We'll explore what a trade could look like here in just a moment. Do you want to trade for CJ McCollum? That is our first question here on New York Knicks Now. Type T for trade, type P for pass. We'll make this the pinned comment on today's video, so if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, scroll on down and answer this question. So we talk a little bit more about a potential CJ McCollum trade. Having another good year for the Portland Trailblazers, was great last year as well. And I think that he would be a piece that could really help New York. You look at his numbers a year ago, he's averaging similar numbers this year as well. 23 points, 46% from the field, 40% from three. He's been a player that's averaged 20+ for a handful of years now and shot the ball really, really well from the outside. An area he's really improved at is his distribution. He can really get other guys involved as well. Almost 5 assists a game a year ago, averaging over 4 again this year as well. So how can CJ help the Knicks? I mean, we're kind of talking about it, right? He can space the floor with his shooting. He's a good ball handler. He's an isolation scorer that can also get other guys involved. And the Knicks need guys that can help create offense, not only for themselves, but for other players as well. And CJ McCollum is certainly a guy who can do all of that. So I think he would be able to help this New York Knicks team in a major, major way. And you guys have been starving for a trade, so maybe trading for CJ McCollum is the way to go. So here's a trade idea we cooked up for you guys. The Knicks would receive CJ McCollum and Tony Snell for Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, and Nerlens Noel in 2 first-round picks. I know it sounds like a lot, but if the Knicks are going to get out from some of those contracts, like especially Fournier, who signed a 4-year deal, and get a guy like CJ, well, it's going to cost you a lot. The good news is the Knicks have first-round picks from other teams, so you could send over the Dallas first-round pick and the Charlotte one as well and keep your own first-round pick. So that would be very, very valuable. Would you make this trade? Be the GM for us. Type Y for yes. Type N for no. Would you make this trade for CJ McCollum if you were in charge of the New York Knicks? And make sure you subscribe to us here at New York Knicks Now. We told you to subscribe to our main channel, but of course subscribe here as well, because if the Knicks make a trade, we're going to make a video. Link is below, youtube.com/KnicksTV. No matter how small the trade is, we will cover it, especially if it's on trade deadline day. Subscribe, turn on those notifications, more Knicks news and rumors, and even when the trade deadline passes, we will still have coverage of the second half of the season. Okay, I want to talk about this as well. A report came out that Tom Thibodeau apparently did not want Cam Reddish, who, of course, the Knicks traded for last month. And, well, the evidence of that is in the pudding, right? He's getting less than 7 minutes per game, and he's been a do-not-play coach's decision 4 times. What does that mean? Thibs is choosing not to play him. This is like borderline disastrous, in my opinion. Like, how do you trade for a guy, especially a talented young player like Reddish, and not get the coach's approval? Like, I'm not saying GMs and always get the coach's input on trades, but like, what's the point? Why go get Cam Reddish, a young player on the rise, if you're not going to play him? And look, this thing is unraveled a little bit for Thibs. I mean, the guy won Coach of the Year last year, and he could be fired after this year if this team misses the playoffs. They got to figure things out quickly. I would play Cam Reddish if I was Tom Thibodeau, and I think the problem is this is kind of the what's the word? The circle of Thibs. Where like the first year or two, you're like, oh man, we got a real coach in here. Like Knicks fans last year, man, we finally got our guy. We made the playoffs. I know, the Knicks flamed out, but now you're in the middle of year two, and you're like, you got this going on. You got the Julius Randle drama. Coach and GM aren't on the same page. It's just a mess, and I don't know, man. It's a big second half of the year for Thibs if he wants to stay in New York. An anonymous NBA personnel man had this to say. Quote, it goes beyond wanting more minutes. Cam thinks he should be the number one option on any team. Now, that's a problem. It's good to be confident, but there were feelings he wanted things handed to him. Now, that goes back to his time with the Hawks as well, that he wanted more of a bigger role. And look, I get it. The kid has a huge ego. You can't feed that ego. But, again, why are you trading for this guy if he's not going to play for you? Like, it just makes no sense for New York. And I like Cam Reddish. I thought he played nice in the playoffs last year, really improved, in my opinion, as a player for Atlanta. I thought he did some nice things in the conference finals. But, man, the fact that he can't even get on the floor means one of two things. One, Thibs is stubborn, or two, Reddish stinks, and why did you trade for him? Or it's a combination of both. And if it's a combination of both, that's a problem. I mean, he's getting over 20 minutes a game in Atlanta. Like, I don't know. That's just not a good look. What do you guys think? Here's a funny one. Does Cam Reddish deserve or need more minutes? Type MM for more minutes. Type HT. He's trash. Let us know in the comments. Certainly Tom Thibodeau thinks he's trash or just doesn't feel like playing him at this point. What a nightmare. I mean, what a freaking disaster this has turned into for New York. So get your votes in on that one. And a quick reminder to subscribe to our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. We'll be live for the NBA trade deadline on Thursday. Probably at least one more video here on New York Knicks Now leading up until then. But in the meantime, subscribe over there for more NBA coverage. And we'll see you guys soon here on New York Knicks Now.